What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a video that's kind of been a little bit overdue, but if you guys have seen our first video, which is the top first 7 mods, this is going to be the sequel for that one. So this one is going to be the next 7 mods video, so let's get into it. Alright guys, so the very first mod is gonna be armor. In front here we do have a hybrid bumper. This one here is made by a company called Lil B's Fabrication, and then there are a couple other armors that are underneath the truck here. For example, we have the front engine skid plate, and then next to that you have the lower control arm skids, and then following that is the transmission skid, the TK skid, the fuel skid plate, and then the rear diff skid plate. This thing is the rock sliders. This here is gonna protect your rocker panel. This rocker panel is extremely expensive if you were to crush it on a rock or anything. So the rock slider is gonna be your best bet to protect that area. And of course, you can use it to slide on the rock, and with this little kick out right here, it can push you away from the rock and catch onto the tire and continue onto the trail. The next is gonna be in the rear here. If you can pretend like this area had a high clearance rear bumper, it is gonna be coming very soon, but obviously we don't have it yet. But if you imagine this line right here, we're gonna be making a cut right there. It's gonna have the same hybrid style as the front bumper. It's gonna come all the way back, and then that will just connect with the rest of the bumper. So that's gonna conclude the very first one. We're not gonna go in any particular order. So since we're back here, let's jump to the second mod. Second one is gonna be storage. This is our newest modification that we did to the truck here. This is the decked drawer system. This here will keep you organized, and of course you don't have to carry anything like the front runner wolf packs like we have been running. This is, or was, my favorite thing to carry when we went on trails. I just had everything ready, and I would have 2 or 3 of these. I would pretty much just throw it in the back of the truck. I knew everything that was in here, so I wouldn't have to worry about did I forget anything or anything like that. So this was great to have, but having this deck system is even better because I don't ever have to manually take it in or out. And we have started to just kind of fill up what we kind of need already. We're not completely done yet, but as we do more trips, we'll fill it up with whatever we need. All right, so the next storage solution is going to be inside. This is the center console tray that we keep a lot of our stuff, and then underneath it we do have a little divider that kind of separates everything, which is nice because that way you're not just tossing a bunch of just stuff in there. And then the other one is going to be right here in the glove box. This one separates it into 5 little cubbies, one for your manual and then whatever other ones you want, like for example our winch controller. So the next one is going to be our Pelican 1750 case. This case here is great for storing anything. What we have stored is our recovery gear up here on the roof rack, but you can essentially store anything up here, clothes, food. This case is 100% waterproof, so no water can get in here. But yeah, this is the case, and since we're up here, we'll jump into our third mod, which is recovery equipment. As you can see here, we use the Pelican to store our recovery equipment. we have here our snatch strap, our toe strap, and our tree saver, along with a couple soft shackles. We did have a couple regular D-rings up here, but it's probably inside the truck now. We have the snatch block from ARB, and we have a dampener for the winch line. And then of course, this is our new favorite one. This is the Factor 55 rope retention pulley. This basically will replace our snatch block because this here is a little bit tricky to use and it could be a little bit dangerous just because how heavy it is. But this here, you would slide this open, slide your line through and then close it, and then use either a D shackle or your soft shackle to attach to here. But with this, you would just attach your line here and that would be it. So this would save you a lot of time and potentially having that rope fail or having the shackle or D-ring fail. So this is going to be our new favorite recovery equipment here. So let's hop down, I'll show you guys a couple other ones. Alright, so our next recovery equipment is going to be back here on the hitch. As you guys can see here, we have a Factor 55 hitch receiver along with a D-ring. This here comes in handy a lot because if you are, let's say, on a trail and somebody behind you needs to get pulled out or something like that, you can use this to pull them out. We also have a couple locks on here so that way nobody tries to steal either the hitch link or the D-shackle. Alright, next we have the Max Trax recovery boards. This has saved us so many times now. So this is probably one of our favorite recovery equipment that we have here. We've been using this for over a year or two now, but it has saved us countless times. And the build quality of this versus the others that are on the market is amazing. So let me show you an example. This here is another brand, but as you can see, it is flexible, unlike the Max Trax, which is a lot harder. This doesn't last as long. From what I've seen before, these little pins right here break off. The back, these get worn down really easily, and this thing could potentially break a lot easier than the Max Trax. With the Max Trax, they do have a lifetime, limited lifetime warranty. So if you were to break one somehow, they would most likely replace it for you, just because of their warranty. Next, we are in the front of the truck. We have here the Factor 55 flat link along with the fair lead. But mainly what's behind here is a worn Platinum 10S winch. This winch here has saved us a couple times as well, especially in snow. Being able to pull yourself out and not having, you know, somebody to rely on if you guys are going by yourself is amazing. So if you guys do a lot of trips on your own or with somebody who doesn't have a winch, for an example, this is going to come in really handy. Since we are up here, we're going to jump into our next mod, which is going to be right here. This here is the Baja Designs lighting solution. We have here an XL80 along with a Squadron. This is the SAE version. We use this one when it's, you know, foggy out or something and we are still on the street. This is 100% street legal. And then we use this one mainly when we are off-road. And then up there we have our Baja Designs Onyx light bar with the amber on the sides and then the white in the middle. This here is really great to have if you guys do a lot of night wheeling, or even if you don't do a lot of night wheeling. If you ever catch yourself, you know, going on campsite or going off on a trail at night, Having lights is gonna be a game changer for you guys, because the headlights on your truck is not gonna cut it when you guys are on trails. The one thing that we don't have yet, as you guys can see here, I'm missing some ditch lights right here. I already do have the lights already wired up. I just need to put the brackets on and then put the lights on, and then I'll be good. All right, next is gonna be the lights that we have on our roof rack. So these lights here are the Baja Designs rock light. So these lights obviously aren't super required, but they do come in handy if you guys do a lot of camping near your truck. All right, the next lighting solution is gonna be back here on the tailgate. If you guys look here, I have two Baja Designs rock lights mounted to my bed rack. And right here, right behind this little cubby area, I have a little switch which turns the lights on. And what these lights are for, it's for prepping your food here when you get on camp and it's dark out, or just using it as a table. These lights come in really handy when it's dark out. So the next one here is a big one. This one here is the wheels and tires. When you guys are selecting wheels and tires, you guys gotta make sure you guys get a couple things into question. Number one is the size. Number two is gonna be the width. Number three is gonna be the offset of the wheels. We have here a 17-inch wheel. This is a VTX wheel. This is the Rogue series. It is a 17 by 8.5 by -12 offset. So why the offset is important is because it's gonna allow you to have that clearance in the back, mainly away from your upper control arm. If you had like a 0 offset, your wheel would be further in and your tire would be rubbing on your upper control arm here. So when you guys are selecting your wheels, make sure you guys take that into account. If you guys are looking for a set of wheels that stick out a little bit more, you would want something that has a higher negative offset, like a -25 or a -38. That will allow you to have that super wide stance offset or wide look that you guys are looking for. In the back here, we have a spacer on the inside of these wheels, and the reason why we have that is to clear our big shock that we have here. We have the Archive Garage shock relocation tower. That pretty much relocates the shock all the way up here, allowing us to run a bigger shock. And being that we have such a big shock, we needed more clearance back here, or else when we were fully flexed out, as you can see here, we kind of rubbed right there. So what we had to do was we had to put wheel spacers on to make clearance for that. And then, of course, when you guys buy wheels, you guys have to buy tires. Tires is what is gonna give you guys the ground clearance that you want when you guys are on the trail. So selecting the proper size tires is very important. We have here a 35 by 12.5 inch tire. These are the BFG. These are the KM3s. These are a mud terrain tire, so they do really well off-road. They don't do super great on-road, but I was pretty surprised at how quiet they were. They were not super noisy as I would have expected them. But when you guys are selecting tires, you guys should consider how much off-road versus on-road driving you guys are gonna do. Normally, what we would do is we would select a all-terrain tire like a BFG KO2 for an example, and then after that, you guys would select which tire size you want. For an example, the stock Tacoma comes with a 31-inch tire, and then you can fit up to about a 32 to a 33-inch tire on a stock suspension, depending on your offset. So with big tires is gonna come with more problems. I'll show you what I mean up front here. So when you guys get big tires, you guys are gonna be adding on a lot of weight, which is gonna be a lot more stress on your axles, on your engine, on your transmission, and of course, you're gonna have a lot of rubbing issues. So back here, we have pretty much melted our plastic and pushed it as far back as we can. And then of course we had to do a cab mount chop. We also have a cab mount relocate kit, which pretty much relocates this whole thing back further, making a lot of clearance for this area. This one is not really on the list, but since we're talking about how much stress big tires and weight that adds onto your transmission, your axles and everything, is going to be gears. Gears is extremely important because it puts the proper amount of gear ratio that it takes for your axles and your transmission to actually turn the actual wheels. So when you guys are upgrading to big tires, make sure you guys are thinking about upgrading your gears as well. But that is going to be for a different video. While we are down here, we'll jump into our next one, which is number 6. This here is going to be suspension. We have the King Shocks coilover for the front with the external reservoir. Along with that, we have the SBC adjustable upper control arm. These control arms are absolutely amazing because if we did not have these, we would not be able to run the 35-inch tires that we have. And the reason for that is because it has the adjustability to move your caster angle forward, allowing you to have more clearance back here. If you did not have that, you would be rubbing back here like crazy. And a lot of you guys ask me, do you rub at all, especially on road and off road? And the answer is no. When I am on road. When I'm off road, this thing gets tucked way up in here and I'm rubbing pretty much all around just because of the size of the tire and the flex that goes on here. So yes and no. But on road, I don't have any kind of rubbing at full crank when I hit a bump or anything like that, which is exactly what I need. So obviously you guys don't have to go with King. They are expensive, but they are absolutely worth it in my opinion. But there are a lot of great options out there. To name a couple, there's Icon, Fox, and Bilstein. They all make extremely good products, and of course they vary in different prices. The more expensive it gets, obviously the better ride quality and the more capability it is on road and off road. So but we'll do a whole separate video on suspension just because it is a really popular one and there's a lot to cover, so we'll cover that in the next one. One last thing on suspension is going to be the leaf pack or the coil spring that you guys choose. So right here is the Icon RXT leaf pack. This one is pretty much the heaviest spring pack that you can have. The reason why we chose this one is because it can hold the amount of weight that we have. As you guys saw, we have the deck system in there, along with the rooftop tent, the bed rack, and all the weight that we add onto here. And with that being said, this can hold the weight really well. As you guys can see, the truck is not slouching at all, it's not sagging, and it actually rides extremely comfortable. And I'm super happy with them. But obviously you don't have to choose this one. You can do something like an add a leaf, which basically is just a single leaf that you can add onto your stock setup, allowing you to have an extra 1.5 inches or so of lift. And of course there is even a cheaper option, which is pretty much just a block that you can add onto your stock suspension. A lot of people do it. If you guys see a lot of those big trucks and you think that their suspension is super expensive, look underneath their truck. If you see a giant brick like this big, you guys know that is just a block system, a block setup, and it's extremely cheap, but you do lose ride quality with that just because you're not actually adding any springs. You're just adding a big old brick pretty much to your suspension, so it is going to be a lot stiffer, but it is super affordable and for anybody that's just looking for looks or you're just mainly doing street driving. So the last and final one is actually not in our Tacoma, but it needs to be, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's go. this here is our 5th gen 4Runner, and in the back of this thing and all inside of this thing is the OEM audio system. This thing is probably the main reason why I choose to drive the 4Runner over the Tacoma any day. So I'm gonna hop inside and I'll show you guys exactly what I mean. So the OEM Audio Plus system, we have had it in the 4Runner for about almost 3 years now. So our system was one of the first ones that they came out with. Their newer one, the latest one, is a little bit different. Their amplifier is different a little bit, but it still sounds just as good. And we're going to show you guys in a little bit why we like it so much. But the main reason why this is on our list is because when we're on the trail or we're heading to the trail, if we're taking a trip or anything like that, or just being stuck in traffic, music is important, especially because most of the time we're driving by ourselves. Even if we're with friends or family, you know, music is always there. So having good sounding music is a must. So with that being said, let's get into a song, but we won't be able to play you a song that you guys will probably know, just because YouTube has copyright issues, and we don't want to, you know, take somebody's music. So we're gonna play one that's copyright free. So here we go. So that was a little bit of a taste of what the system sounds like. I hope that the mic can pick up the sound, and hopefully you guys can hear how good it sounds in here. But this system is the reason why we like driving the 4Runner so much more than the Tacoma or the Tundra, just because of the system. Alright guys, that is pretty much it for this video. We will have the link to everything down in the description. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys give us a thumbs up, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.